This is how to solve a quadratic inequality without having to graph it. First you get one side of the inequality to 0, then factor it. Plot what makes each factor 0 on a number line. Then pick a starting point inside of one of the intervals, so not on one of the zeros, and just determine its sign, positive or negative. You don't have to get an actual value. And then use multiplicity to determine the sign of the other intervals. If the multiplicity of a factor is odd, you're going to switch sign as you switch sides of that 0. However, if it's an even multiplicity, the sign will stay the same. And then finally, interpret the number line to get the answer to your inequality. Let's do this example. First get one side to 0. Now we factor it. Now we draw the number line. All we do is plot the numbers that make each factor 0. So we have a 3 and we have a -1/2. Now you pick a starting point. You could pick 0. Let's do 0. If you plug in 0, we'll get a 1 times a -3, which is negative. And now we use the multiplicity to see if we're going to be positive or negative. Now 3, our multiplicity is 1, so we change sign as we cross that 3. And -1/2 also has multiplicity 1, so we will change to a positive. Now we interpret our number line. We want to be greater than 0, so we're going to want these positives. So our answer is -∞ to -1/2. We don't include -1/2 because it's strictly greater than 0. Union 3 infinity. Let's do another example. We already have one side to 0, so let's factor this. Now we draw the number line. What makes this factor 0 is a 5/2. Okay, we can plug in a test point. You could plug in 0, and you'll get -5 quantity squared, which is 25. Or a shortcut is, this goes out to infinity. So you can just think big number. If you put a big number and double it, it's big. Subtract 5, it's still really big and positive. Square it, it's big and positive. There you go. So that's a way to get around doing arithmetic. Now the multiplicity of this factor is 2, it's even, so we will not change sign as we cross. Now let's interpret this number line to find the answer. We want less than or equal to 0. Now it's 0 at 5/2, but there's no negative, so our solution is just the set 5/2.